Welcome everyone. Today we're going to talk about fund admin. Before that, a really quick introduction and a few logistical things. So again, as usual, our company tries to be the best technology solution for GPs. And towards that end, we create an investor portal, a CRM, a underwriting software, a fund admin that includes both the service and the technology. And we have a marketplace called InvestBase. This is a end-to-end solution for general partners and fund of fund managers. Now, before I get started, I want to do a few really fun things that I think will provide a lot of resources for you. So the first thing, I'm gonna send you all of you this link. This is our official Facebook group. You have to be a customer in order to join. Right now, they have some grandfather-in members, but going forward, I will approve one by one. You just have to put in your email address. We will double check we'll check whether you are a customer based on our database, and then I'll approve one by one. Okay, so that's the Facebook group. I'm gonna, man, there are so many people still joining. Can't keep up with accepting people. Okay, cool. So I'm gonna send it again in case the folks that just got in have not seen it. So that's the Facebook group. Now, the way you think about the Facebook group is the community. You only meeting other GPs within the Facebook group, okay? And so you can like ping them on Facebook and say, hey, do you want to coach GP on my deal? Do you want to work together? Here's my info. So go do that. Your network is your net worth is your network, or vice versa. So that's gonna be a great resources. The second resource I want to tell you is our YouTube channel. So we're getting about 223 subscribers. If you have time, just subscribe to us. We want to get to the 300 mark subscriber by end of this year. So do us a favor and subscribe to us if you can. Okay? And that is a great way to keep up to date of our demos and so on. Okay? Cool. And then, so Missy, since you just joined, you can actually just go into here. This is our Facebook group. We create a community. It's already got 700 members. I repurposed one of them. They are all like techies in real estate, but going forward, only the customers can join. We're only gonna add the people that are customers. So you have, I will accept your requests later. All right, and then the last thing I want to show you is our Eventbrite. So we have our very first customer mastermind that's in Dallas, Texas, right before the Old Capital Conference in October. It is $99. We're gonna meet in a WeWork location in Plano, Texas. And that evening, the Old Capital Conference is around 6 o'clock. So we're gonna meet between 9 a.m., 8:30 a.m. until 6 o'clock. I will send out more details on that. And this is how you can subscribe to our Eventbrite. This is in October. I hope to see you there. This is a great way for you also to just meet other folks. Okay, so we are leaning more into community. I think, again, the goal is not just to provide the software, but also provide a venue for you folks to connect with each other. All right, cool. And yeah, this is a meeting, as you can see. So feel free to put your contacts in the chat and people can reach out to you if they need to. All right. And then the last thing I will, if you need any questions or comments and things that we haven't answered, here's the canonical resources, which is our demo link. Scheduled demo link with the rest of our team to go over any questions you may have. All right, without further ado, I will go into fund admin. All right, great. Cool. So I'm gonna break this down into two parts. The first part is about in what cases do you need a fund admin? And then the second part is what does Casual Portal's fund admin offer? Okay. There are 70 of you in this call, and that's amazing. And a lot of you are either already doing a fund or thinking about doing a fund. So the question is, when do you need fund admin? So let me go to this flow chart. We created this beautiful flow chart that I think I personally use. So do you need fund admin? Well, If your operating agreement require quarterly financial statement disclosures to your LPs, yes, you do need a fund admin. Is that a evergreen fund? If yes, you need fund admin. Is that a multi-asset fund, even if it's a closed-ended fund? Okay, yes, you do need fund admin. Do you have institutional LPs, such as family offices? Yes, in that case, you also need fund admin. Do you have a customizable fund that where the LPs can choose what allocations to invest into into your fund? If yes, you absolutely need fund admin. Now, is that just a closed-ended single-purpose vehicle? Like it's a single asset, single-purpose vehicle. In that case, you don't need fund admin. If you are a SPV closed-ended for the purpose of one thing, you usually do not need fund admin. If it's none of those above, which you should almost never come to this box, then use your own judgment on whether you need fund admin. Okay, but in almost all cases, you go down this flow chart, I will say 85% of the funds will need some sort of fund admin. Now, I like to think of a fund admin as the entire back office of your fund. Okay, think of your fund as a multi-year venture that goes from point A to point B. Fair enough? Okay, so in order to go from origin A to destination B, what you need is you need a lot of things. First, you need a car. And think of the car as your investor portal. Okay, you need a car to get there. Okay, so you get a car, and that's your investor portal. And that analogy also means that fund admin, in order to get fund admin, you need an investor portal. You can't just have fund admin without the portal. Then it doesn't exactly make sense. You need a car, that's your investor portal. So you pay for that. Then you need bookkeeping and accounting and financial services. That's every quarter, every month, and so on. You can think of that as the GPS or the plan, how you're going to drive from A to B. And that keeps your road trip structure. Okay? The compliance, which is also part of the fund admin, and that the compliance part is making sure your seatbelt is correct, everything is good to go, and that's technically part of the car already. It's kind of built into the car. Now, every night, because it's not a one-time thing, if you're going from Seattle to Miami, that's going to take you multiple days. So every night, you need to stay in a hotel or stay somewhere. And that is your yearly K1 tax preparation. And so the fund admin, also include the K1 preparation. So a road trip from A through B, the car is the investor portal, the fund admin, the financial accounting, all of that is the GPS that keeps your fund intact. And then once every year, once every night, you stay in the hotel. That's where your K1s and tax preparation come in. That's the visualization I have for your fund admin. And we have established that almost all the time, you need a fund admin. Okay? All right, so that is the basic understanding. So let's talk about the different parts. Let's talk about the quarterly financials. Let's talk about how Capture Portal aims to solve that. And if you have any questions, feel free to put it in your message board here, okay? All right, and some of you may have already seen the short video. So this is gonna be a little bit of a repeat, but I will go much more in depth on the different parts. Okay, so I am on the Familiar Capture Portal website, and this is my GP view. And I'm going to the Monarch Open-Ended Fund. Here you will see Fund Admin. Now I have already unlocked all the features. If you have not paid for the Fund Admin, then some of these will be locked. Some of these will actually be free to use, which is awesome. Okay, so you can get a free version of it just to try it out for yourself. The most important thing is the expense and the income tracking. Here, you can add a transaction set. Now, when I say you actually do not do any of it. We do it on your behalf. So the process is the following. The process is that you are going to do asset level accountings with your own firm. Asset level will include like multifamily, single family. This is the profit and loss statement for your own asset. This has nothing to do with the fund at this point. And let's suppose that your fund has 3 assets, 3 multifamilies. Each one of those 3 multifamilies will have their P&L, either investment, portfolio, Yardi, or a billion, doesn't matter. So you have 3 P&Ls. Every month or every 2 weeks, you send that P&L to our team, and our team will aggregate them into a separate account. That's our QuickBooks account. So the fund level accounting is still in the QuickBooks account. Some customers actually have QuickBooks for their own asset level accounting, especially if they're doing oil and gas and private credit and merchants and debt fund. They're actually using QuickBooks for their asset level. Doesn't matter. We will still create a separate QuickBooks account for just the fund. That's on a monthly basis or every 2 weeks. We also get access to your bank account read-only so that we can reconcile the numbers. To the extent that your books are not correct, we will ask you to correct your asset books because we only focus on the fund level. So there's the asset level accounting and then there's the fund level. They're orthogonal to each other. They're tight. Their handshake is based on you giving us the data and giving us read-only access to your bank so we can do the quarterly financials. We're going to actually reconcile them every month, but the deliverable is every quarter. Okay, so far makes sense. Now, behind the scenes, we will use the QuickBooks for the fund level accounting and the fund level reconciliation. And we work with an amazing CPA, Vodum CPA, for all of that accounting work. We're not an accountant. We partner with the accountant, and we have a very, very strong relationship with them. Behind the scenes, our accountant and we will reconcile your books, and we will migrate all of the final financials to Cashflow Portal. The way we do that is we will do on your behalf all the fund income, the fund expenses, the net income, and how they allocate it to the LPs. We could do it manually because it's already in our QuickBooks, or very soon, behind the scenes, we will allow ourselves to upload the QuickBooks, and then voila, everything get transcribed correctly into the Cashflow Portal format. Now, why is that important? Maybe you can say, why don't I just use QuickBooks for everything? So that is where a very, very cool concept of fund admin happens. All right, so let me describe that concept. So here you have the fund level income, you have the fund level expenses, and I'm going to give $1,000 for management fee and $1,000 for expense reserve. I have some kind of net income, which is about $8,000, but I'm only going to distribute about $6,000, $7,000. So my distribution could be less than my net income, and I need to take the difference. At this point, what have we achieved? We have achieved the financials for your fund. We have achieved the profit loss statement for your fund. We have reconciled and done all the bookkeeping for your fund, and that is a very managed service. Okay, but what we have, you have done the distributions for your LPs. That's actually not even part of fund admin. That's just like you doing the distributions through Cashflow Portal. That's included in the car. Distributions are basically like pumping gas. That's already included in the car. So at this point, what are the known things and what are the unknown things? The known things is you have an income expense at the fund level. So far, so good. So you have the total fund level and income expense. You also know how every LP gets distributed. That's through Cashflow Portal. What you don't know is how much of the total income is allocated to every LP. What you also don't know is how much expense is being allocated for every LP. And those have very different concepts. To allocate income, it has to be the mathematical equation is given the fact that LPA gets this amount of distribution, and given the fact that this is the waterfall, how much income should be allocated to this LP. That's the mathematical equation trying to figure out. Similarly, for expenses is given the fact that they got this distribution and given the fact they entered the fund in the early stages of fund on this particular date, how much of the expense should be allocated? They are slightly different concepts. One is what's called the economic allocation. The other one is the daily active value allocation. So the magic of cash flow portal, which QuickBooks could not do, is that we own the waterfalls. We also own your entire investor database, in your investor cap table. So because we run the distribution on your behalf, we know all the preferred returns. We know all the transactions, the deploy, undeployed capital. It's a click of a button to allocate all your income and all your expenses. Taking a step back, fundamentally, fund admin is the calculation of all the numbers at the fund level and the LP level, the allocations. There are multiple ways of doing that. A lot of the fund admins, the way they do it is they are using human labor. They basically, so the way that typically fund admin works is they will have 20 different spreadsheets representing 20 different types of waterfalls. They will ask you for your operating agreement, and they might even negotiate with you, hey, don't do it this way. They don't do it this way because they couldn't support that waterfall. So they will ask you to change your OA to support their waterfall. Then you will send all their financials, and it's like a magic box. And then they are using their spreadsheet to run your waterfall. They will also use a spreadsheet to run all your income allocated or all your expense allocated. You see this number, $2,451.27. They calculate the number on a spreadsheet, and they manually go back to your portal and enter that number. And that's why the fund admin is really, really expensive, because this is all manual work. But because we came from technology, we are proud to be the investor portal that's backed by Y Combinator. We come into this fund admin with a fresh view that can we solve this mathematical equation using software as opposed to this multiple handoffs using a spreadsheet. And that's what we get up. You have the allocated through income, allocation for expenses, allocation through the capital balance. So you have before and after, the thing that you deploy, the tax balance. It gets really, really complex. Bonus depreciation is a tax balance. It's not actually a economic capital balance. If I scroll down a little bit more, it also has this concept for GPs. So when you run a distribution such as a carry interest, the carry interest is actually really interesting from a tax point of view, and from a fund admin point of view. The carry interest is considered an income to the GPs. It's considered an expense to the LPs, but it's not an expense at the fund level. No money gets reduced. It's just the money changes hands. But all of that information needs to be captured so that the GPs, that the tech accountants can do your work. I am saying all of this to give you a peek behind the curtain. But the most important thing to remember is that we are doing this work on your behalf. We don't expect you to be accountants. We don't expect you to know all of the behind the scenes. This is a fully managed service, because we work very closely with the accountant. This has changed dramatically from, say, a year ago, where we are just a software and we don't really exactly know how the managed service works. But now we have changed our view that we need to be a managed service that just happens to leverage technology to do your fund admin. Okay, so that is what's going on. All right. Any questions up to this point? And then maybe folks, you can put it in the chat there. And then before I go on further, does that make sense to folks? Even if that makes sense to you, you can put it in the chat there. Okay, that's pretty good. I will pause there a little bit. Yeah, quick question. So can the accountants get access to trading accounts such as interbroker and reconcile commissions after trading? That's a great question, John. So the P&L for the trading accounts, unfortunately, that is you have to reconcile these numbers almost at the asset level, and then you basically only send us if it's related to commissions and trading expenses, all of that, they might be on that particular trading account. You only send us the profit and loss statement for the asset. So our fund admin does not actually do the asset level accounting. Now, there's a little bit of a blurry line with the trading accounts, but we do expect a P&L from that trading activity, if that makes sense. All right, great, cool. I hope that makes sense so far. Now, let's go a little bit step further. So because we do all the expenses and the reconciliation and the allocation, and by the way, on the allocation part, I want to talk a little bit more about the allocation. Before the allocation, you need to do distributions, obviously. And distributions has two parts. There is the calculation of money, and then there is the transfer of money. We do both. Okay. The calculation of money is using our waterfalls. And our waterfalls, you can build it up with our team very, very easily. You can get as complex as you like. We have things like 8%, give them an 8% cash and cash, then 80-20 split. We have, you can have waterfalls at a different level. So you can have a waterfall saying they got an 8% cash and cash, 70-30 split up to a 15% IRR and a 50-50 split. If you are currently using another fund admin, ask yourself this question. Did you ever get a chance to do these waterfalls yourself? Can you actually see how the numbers work? Or that you send them these account statements, they do all the work, they hand code these numbers on the portal, and you're like, I don't know where this come from. I don't know how to reconcile them. Our way, which is the technology way, is that this is all transparent. We're doing the work on your behalf, but you can actually check the work. Okay, so this is a different level of doing fund admin. All right, so that's the calculation of money. The transfer of money, that's also easy. You will connect with your bank and you can send the ACH directly from the bank. We don't use a NACHA file. I think some customer can attest that we really think about how distributions work. For example, some people didn't put their bank account. You can distribute to those people, to the ones that have put in a bank account. And once they put in bank account, you go back to that previous distribution set and then send to the people that recently put in their bank account, right? Okay, so that's on the distributions. Now, because we keep track of all the distributions, the account statements, the expense and the income, we are now ready to generate what's called a account statement, which is kind of the financial statement for every single LP. The way that works is that let me go into any one of those people, okay? And this is what that looks like. You have your logo at the top, and you can see their initial capital balance. Let me zoom in here a little bit. Okay, let me zoom in here a little bit. There's the investment to date, year to date, and quarter to date. These are all their contributions, of which you can see their deposit is 150K, and then 4,200 is from their reinvestment. And this quarter, they have not made any reinvestments or distributions, which is fine. And then you can see all the distributions, the net income. And if I scroll down here, they can see the ending capital balance. They see things like their accrued interest, their commitment, capital contributed, and then how much have been funded, and so on and so forth. Okay. You have your disclaimer at the end that this is customizable. What else is customizable? Let me exit out of this. Let's say I actually don't want to show my LPs the net income breakdown. You turn it to be no. I can change my disclaimer at the bottom. Go ahead and save. And then if I go back to the same person, the net income now gets shortened up. It does not show the breakdown. So you get this report for free. Okay. You can send them. These reports can be generated on demand by the LPs. Or you can go into investor portal, go to reporting, and then you can create, you can basically multi-select as many LPs as one, create a draft email, and that will automatically send them the report that's relevant to them. It's an individualized report to each person, okay? Now, let's go into when rubber meets the road on your road trip. These are the things that we really shine. Let's go through some of the really gnarly problems. Here is an overview of a set of gnarly problems. For every investment, we see things like, you can do things like undeployed capital. Undeployed capital means added to their cash balance. It's sitting there, it's not invested into a deal, right? You can add a contribution. Some people may actually have reinvestments. They want to reinvest their dividends, which increase their capital balance. That's where it gets complicated. You can also deploy the capital, undeploy at the fund level, and then all of those deployed capital gets allocated then to each LP. You can add a withdrawal, and then you can also do a transfer of ownership. Transfer of ownership could be within the same investor from LLC A to IRA B, or could be between two investors from investor A to investor B. Okay, and when you do that, some gnarly things happen. Their preferred return will stop at the time of transfer of ownership date, and then person B will pick up the preferred return on the next date. That is all automatically tracked in the portal. If you don't do that, all of that is tracked through a spreadsheet. Okay, so and then obviously you have redemptions, which is some LPs want to exit the fund and come in back into the fund and so on. So we've been working literally for the last 4 years on all of getting the distributions correct, and we are taking that kind of expertise into the fund admin because they are very interconnected. All right, so that is on the this is how technology helps with making fund admin a much easier process. All right, so we talk about income, we talk about account statements, and let's talk about K1. This is a beautiful chart. So because we keep track of all, through our accountant, all the taxable capital balance and the economic capital balance, we know their approximate bonus depreciation and any type of what their K1 will most likely look like. So this is a sample K1. You see the distribution, you see their net rental income, you see their ordinary income, and then here you see their beginning capital balance and an ending capital account. This is not a finalized K1, and our accountant will prepare your finalized K1 because they're doing all the books. They have a very intimate knowledge of what your K1 looks like. But this at least can show you, approximately what their K1 will look like. And this is going to help you make a decision of a LP trying to invest 100,000 to hit certain types of bonus depreciation for the upcoming year. You can show them this chart. Hey, you're looking at this, right? If you invest 100K more, your bonus depreciation will be this amount. And this can really help with your tax planning. Okay, this is a very powerful tool, and we pride ourselves in the numbers being accurate. Okay, in fact, we have folks that spend enormous amount of time to reconcile the books, and 99.9% of the time, our numbers are the accurate one, and we just they actually have to change the spreadsheet to reflect cash flow portal's numbers because software is predictable. It's the same numbers over and over again. So this is gonna be really cool. The last one, let me talk about compliance. Okay, so on the compliance, actually, let me answer some questions before I go into the compliance part. Compliance part is pretty easy. So one is about Jesse asked, what kind of connections do you use for banking and payments? We use Duala and Plaid for banking and payments. You can connect arbitrary banks. It's definitely the big top 10 banks where you can distribute directly through the bank, and that's what almost 99.9% of customers do. Furthermore, you can take investments by connecting with your bank, such that LP can also connect with their bank and then fund the $50,000 or $75,000 investment directly through the bank. Early next year, or maybe mid next year, we will have our own bank. We partner with a sponsor bank, and that way, the nice thing about that is you no longer have to pay a hefty ACH fee, which we actually just pay our vendor currently. So that's coming. And if you use our own bank, which is early next year, then we don't need to connect with your bank. We have your bank information, so that's going to be simplified even further. Okay. All right. Bob asked, "Hey, what if I'm not using QuickBooks?" Great question. What else can you link to? So, we are not linking to your QuickBooks. Our input is just a bunch of Excel sheets or CSVs. They can be Excel sheets or CSVs from your QuickBooks, or it could be a report from your property management software, which is basically a accounting software. Or if you put it on a spreadsheet, then you just send us your spreadsheet on a bi-weekly or a monthly basis, because the more frequently you send them, the more updated we are. And so our input is just a CSV. Even if you use QuickBooks, we don't need access to that QuickBooks. We just need the output of that QuickBooks, if that makes sense. Okay, cool. All right. The other question about Paul asks, do you produce K3s or K2s? So sorry for the here. That is something that you have to work with the accountants. The current engagement does not involve the K2s and K3s, and so that will be extra charge for now. Okay, and I just want to be super clear for the accounting part, for the K1s and the tax preparation part. We only do the top level, the cap table LLC, because most of your funds will have 2 or 3 LLCs. One is the cap table, which is the main LLC with all the investors. And then there's your manager LLC. And sometimes there's like a limited partnership structure. There's like a third LLC. We only do one of the LLC, which is the main one. If should you want them to do the the tax preparation for the manager LLC, that's a separate charge. That's not exactly through Cash Portal. You can have a separate arrangement with the accountant. That's fair. Okay. All right. Next question is about yeah. So Missy, that's correct. That's thank you for being a great almost guinea pig for our fund admin and really make our software more robust. So question, is K1 draft be available any time of the year as long as it has most, or do we need K1 from asset too? So you don't need the beautiful thing about this is K1 draft is available any time of the year. You actually don't need the K1 from the assets on the property for this to populate. It will be approximate. Okay, it will not be exactly correct. Once you have the K1s, you have to enter more information, which then will create the finalized K1. But it is very good as an approximation. Okay, are all investor K1s generated as part? Yes, that's right. All the investor K1s are generated. And the aha moment actually came a few weeks ago where the customer came to me and they say, well, if I use you for the fund admin, but I have a separate CPA for my tax preparation, there's another handoff. So our goal is to reduce as much of the handoff as possible. And so think of us, the best way to think of us is we are the, say we are Costco and fund admin is the Kirkland brand to that Costco. So we have our own fund admin, that's the Kirkland brand, but you are more than free to use another fund admin. Let me give you an example why you might want to do that. One is you might actually want a fractional CFO, and that give you advice. That you can use our software and we just sell you the software, and you do all the work and you integrate with our software. It's a little bit less pleasant, but you can do that. We work with other fund admins. Second is you might actually take family office money and institutional money. And to that end, maybe they want audited financials. And just to be clear, almost 99% of the fund admins that I asked my CPA this question, they don't have audited financials. Audited financials, you can have them. It starts at $50,000 a year. And so the question becomes an economic incentive question. Do you want your LPs to have $50,000 less to distribute in exchange for audited financials? Audited financials means that we're gonna look at like the CPA will look at all your transactions. When you say, hey, I raised $1 million, they will check that you actually raised that $1 million. They will check every single one of your cap table, every one of your expenses, every part of your receipt. I can guarantee that if you're less than 50 million, 100 million, your financials are not audited. Okay. It's a completely different bar. These are like Fortune, 5,000 company bar. Okay. All right. Cool. So Jing asks, can you expand on that? No more ACH fees for the external banks from the CFP partner banks. Yeah. So there will be a small fee. It's like 35 cents or 50 cents if you use our bank as a GP. It doesn't matter what the LP's bank is. It's that you use our bank for your investor portal, then the fees will be dramatically reduced down to like 34 cents or even free if you're a certain tier. But then as of now, unfortunately, you just pay us enough so that we can pay our provider. That's what that is. Okay. Okay. Who is the CPA firm? Great question. The CPA firm is called VolanCPA.com. They are based in the US. They are amazing. They have this track record of 100% of their K1s on deliver on time. And so when we partner with them, I want to partner with the highly capable folks. And they're not offshore. They're 100% in the US. Okay. All right. Okay, cool. Thank you. All right, 10 to 25K for all the financials. That's cool. But okay, that's still pretty expensive. Okay, very good. All right, sounds good. And then is that available for invest generate or any? So the drafted K1s are only for the GPs to generate for now because you can click on it, download it, and then send it to the LP. We don't want to give the LP that this is not, like, basically, we don't want to tell them that this is your K1. Yeah, okay. All right, sounds good. So that's the K1s. Let's talk about compliance. So compliance is, we have 5 things on compliance. One is the blue sky filing. Now, on the blue sky filing, it's very, very interesting. So we have determined for now the best way to file the blue sky filing is still your legal counsel. We could do it, but it requires a SEC ID, and that gives them the power of attorney, and it's just best that your attorney does it. What we can do, what we have done, is we give you a notification on when you need to file them. And because we track the first funding date, and so we can track the first investment that come into through every state, this is more of a checklist. You can also send your attorney an email so that they know that they need to file. But the actual process of filing, some fund admins do it, but I know more and more fund admins don't do it because that's a lot of responsibility to take up, legal responsibility. Okay. The second 2 things are related to international investors. So if you're taking non-US investors, there are FATCA and CRS. One is a more of an international convention that you have to basically tell that, hey, register with this thing. The other one is a US law that if you're taking international investors, make sure that you fill out a form. And this is also a thing to let you know that, hey, make sure you do that. If you don't do that, actually, very interesting. It's you might be on the hook to put aside a lot of money of their capital gains at the end of your fund, which is not pleasant at all. So make sure you pay attention to those 2 things. The other 2 things include KYC, AML, parallel, and accreditation. Accreditations are actually part of the investor portal, so you don't need a fund admin to have accreditation. That's through a company called Parallel Markets. A lot of you have used it already. That works very similarly for accreditation. The KYC is something you can also turn on. If you turn that on, the LP has to upload their driver's license, sometimes even take a photo of their image, and then that will give you the system of record that you have done your due diligence on it. All of that is part of the investor portal onboarding when they subscribe to your deal. I hope that makes sense. The beneficiary owners is no longer not relevant. There what used to be a law that you have to fill it out, and now you don't have to, except for I think New York, they are still in contention. That is something you don't have to. For now, it's gonna be okay. So the compliance is more of a checklist to tell you, have you done something, have you not done something, but the paradigm, the accreditation and the AML are fully integrated into the portal. So far, there's no API that I can file blue sky filings, nor do we think that it's a pretty legal complexity. So we still rely on the attorneys to do that. Okay. All right. Cool. Okay. Great question about Missy on the exam reporting advisor. That's something we need to add into our roadmap. So we will take that. We definitely will add that as well. Okay. So that's that compliance. All right. And any questions here before I go into talk about the investor metrics and the dashboard? Has this been helpful?
Yes, it's super helpful.
Mhm. Any questions? You can put it. You can speak or you can put it in the chat. What's the part that you were confused or not sure about that I addressed that is most helpful for you before you came to this webinar? Anyone can speak up on this one, and then before I answer the question for Nina.
I would say you could go over that section that we just went through 30 times.
Mm-hmm.
There's so much detail inside of that, inside of the whole fund section. It's amazing that your brain keeps it all straight.
Thanks. Great. All right. Okay. So let's talk about Nina's question. So let's talk about the need for transition from current admin to CFP, timing, cost, and work involved. So to move your fund over, there are the technology constraints. There's the legal constraint. There is kind of your effort constraint. Okay. In terms of the timing, budgeted 3 to 4 weeks. We have done it a few times. We're getting better and better at it. We are pride ourselves in operations 3 to 4 weeks. That involves all the connecting to your bank, setting up the portal, migrating your cap table, and so on. The cost, we don't charge a migration fee, at least until end of the year for fund admin, because we are hungry, we want customers, it is what it is. That's fine. Eventually we will. So there's no onboarding fee. I say here, so you can bank on it. The work involved, there is the legal work and then there's the technology work. The technology work is as minimal as you can have it. It requires you 30 minutes to go on a weekly call with us where we show you the progress and we also show you any questions that as you use the software as we migrate. The legal work, if you're using certain portals, you may have to say it's got their trademark on it, and that is the complex question. I don't think the trademark matters. You can talk to your legal counsel if it has a name on it. I don't understand why anyone would do that, but it is what it is. So that actually so far has been the biggest blocker, which I don't like it. It is what it is. So the technology work is close to none. We do all the work. Financially, it makes a lot of sense. You're gonna save at least 50% on your costs, and that's 50% of say $20,000 that you can distribute more to your LPs, and you don't have to kind of like shuffle and do a lot of things before your K1 season because we are moving very steadily up to your March 15th deadline. Okay. So that's the transition. For the transition, you schedule a call with here, and then we can talk about a concrete transition plan for your fund admin. Whether that is if you're using a big company or if you're currently using another company. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and so Missy, you can also like just ping Missy separately also how she was able to overcome some of the legal hurdles there. Yeah. And thank you everyone already for using our portal. We are just taking the same operational excellence from the portal now into the fund admin. It's actually it's very similar. It's very similar. Okay. Okay. Paul asked about what's the CFP's lockup period. Our lockup period. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about pricing, and then let's also talk about lockup period. So we have a 1-year contract. So all the fund admins are 1-year contract. So I guess that's lockup period of a year. But if you are toward the end of your contract, you just tell us, oh, I'm moving forward. There's no notice period. There's no like 6-month notice in addition to the 1-year contract. It's 1-year contract. And usually people give a month of advance, and there's a way to like cancel subscription if you want to. So far we have at least on the investor portal side, we have 100% retention to any well-known competitors. So we are very, very proud of that. Let's talk about the cost. The cost is actually really interesting. So, but before I talk about cost, I just want to bring you to this dashboard. So this dashboard shows you the performance metrics, the fund metrics, the class level metrics, the investor level metrics. And this is a beautiful chart. You see the capital balance contributed for every investor. There's the income allocated. There's the equity multiple. There is the preferred return. There is the preferred return on pay. So you can actually see all of the metrics on the LP per investment level, which is very, very nice. Okay, so that is something that can keep track of the fund's dashboard. All right, so let's talk about pricing. Our pricing is super easy to understand. So remember the analogy I mentioned, going from A to B, you need a car and you need a GPS, you need a plan, and you need hotels, right? So that's the analogy. Investor portal, you can actually launch your very first deal for free. Now, because you're on this call, you probably are already customers, so that does not apply to you. But if you don't have anything on Cashier portal yet, your very first deal, you can actually stage everything for free. And if your documents take 6 weeks to arrive, 6 months to arrive, it's free for those 6 weeks or 6 months, because the moment you pay is the moment you launch to your LPs, and launching it is $299 per month. So a perfect way for new GPs is to not pay anything, stage their deal. When they get their documents, launch it for $299. If they cannot raise all the money, cancel it after a month. Like, that's maybe regroup and so on. But if you can raise the money, it's $299 a month until the time you finish raising. That's the kind of the way to take advantage of the system. Then when you're ready to do your distributions, you upgrade it to $499. Okay, the $499 is set in stone for the whole year. This is paid annually. The $299 is paid monthly. They're different. One is you don't know whether you can raise money. The second one is you have raised money. That is annually, so $6,000, 500 times 12. That gives you up to $10 million of funds under management, and it is fixed for the whole year. We will reevaluate your pricing a year from that point, and it is going to look like, if you're still less than 10 million, it's still $6,000 a year, $500 a month. If it's between 10 and 20 million, it's gonna be $599 a month. If it's between 20 and 30 million, it's $699 a month, and so on and so forth. So every 10 million is incremental $100 per month. That's what that is. And it's evaluated once a year, which is good, because say you raise like $20 million in the next 2 weeks after you get upgraded, and we don't charge you until the next anniversary, because we're always catching up with you, which is good. Okay, so that's the portal, that's the car. Okay, the fund admin is the module, is on top of it, and it starts at $6,000 a year. Now let me tell you what $6,000 includes. It includes your financial, bookkeeping, quarterly statements, LP allocation, LP account statements, and it includes your K1s and tax preparation for the main level fund, not your manager LLC, but the main level fund. This is if your fund is between $1 to $3 million of equity under management. Okay, if it's below $3 million, it's $6,000 flat fee. So what is your all-in all cost? It's $6,000 plus $6,000. $6,000 for the car, $6,000 for the fund admin, $12,000. And so on a $3 million fund, $12,000 represents less than 0.3% of the assets equity under management. That's your all-in cost. I can't really think of anything else you need technology-wise and operation-wise to manage your fund. $12,000, $3 million fund, you are all set. Even if you raise $1 million, that's 1.2% of the equity under management, which is well underneath the 2% asset management fee that you possibly will charge. If you are above 3,000, here's how it works. It will be 10 basis points of your fund equity under management. Okay, so far so good. Plus $4,000 for the tax preparation. You have to buy both because we believe that if we know all your books, we are the better CPA to do your work. You cannot find a good CPA for $3,000 to prepare your tax. This is all in the US. Okay. For the above the 3 million, it's gonna be $4,000 to prepare your fund. This is not your asset level. This is the fund level preparation. So what has really changed in the last few months? The biggest change is now fund admin. We do your we do your accounting, we do your tax preparation, and we prepare your K1s because we believe that that is the right way the GPs think about their fund. They just want a platform they can really do A through Z, as opposed to hey, they need to find their own accountant as well. Okay, so that's that. Now, for the folks, how does this compare to other ones? I will pick on Juniper Square. Juniper Square is a huge company. They probably don't really know us. I think one of our customers talked to them and they quoted them like $50,000. And then there's another quote of like $100,000. And this is for like a $5 million fund, which is, that's the basis of comparison. Folks that have used other portals, the cheapest one is still more expensive than us. And the reason, again, goes back into the way they do the fund admin is using a combination of spreadsheets. And some folks there can make it really, really affordable because they outsource the human labor. And that's their differentiator. But anyone that's in the US, they're very expensive, starts at 25K or 15K a year. Okay. But they outsource the human labor, and that's why they're able to make it really cheap. We do not outsource human labor. We just outsource it to technology. So that if you can summarize the entire talk in one sentence is that we come into fund admin as a newcomer and starting about a year, 2 years ago, and we do it slightly differently, very differently, which is we are bringing it with a technology spin. Why can't we do it using software? We build all the waterfalls in software. Why don't we do the fund admin also in software? And so that's why we outsource it to technology, and that's why our cost is probably one of the highest value that you can find. Okay. There's one question about Patty. Are you able to compare CFP with a investor? So we respect a investor. I feel like they are very, very good with sales and marketing. They're very, very good at capturing the end-to-end state of a GP, and we learn a lot from the go-to-market. We 100% support customizable funds. We have customers that move over or have moved over and are in the process of moving over. We have all the relationship with all the attorneys that you like. And then we also now have the fund admin, including the CPA service. Okay. And we are probably knowing the pricing model, we are probably in the order of 40% discount to a 50% discount compared to them. But it's not that we are cheaper and worse. We are cheaper, and I hope that we are also better. That's my honest answer. Yep. But if you're using them, just be aware that the legal hurdle is something you may have to overcome. So talk to some of the folks that have switched over, and we can have a separate chat through the demo link above. Okay, cool. What is the minimum fund to starting on the software? Yeah, if you are not raising money, then you can set it up for free. So if the $299, you can raise whatever amount, even if it's a 5 million, it's $299. So the $499 is based on how much money you have raised. So the minimum is pretty much nothing. You can start it for free by going to the homepage of Cashflow Portal and then create a free account there. Okay. Let's go over some questions. If the GP also invests, does that count towards the equity under management? Jesse, great question. Unfortunately, yes. Yeah. So unfortunately, we try to be very fair. And if GP invests $1 million, that's call it $1 million. Now, if you have a pref equity that invests $10 million into your deal, we do make an exception that anything above $5 million, we count that as $5 million because it makes no sense to pay $100, right, for that $10 million of equity under management if it's by a family office. So we do cap the highest each individual investment to be $5 million. But yes, unfortunately, if you invest your own deals, that counts to your equity under management. And that's what other portals do as well. And then last one is our accountants probably more than do they include consulting? That's a great question. That's where your accountants, if they provide consulting, that's not part of that 6,000 that I mentioned for the $1 to $3 million. That is additional. And so that it's just why it is, because we don't want the customers to abuse the time. So it comes with like one consultation, and then just like and then the workings of your farm. But if it's like tax planning, that's a different cost. That's a different arrangement altogether. Okay, that makes sense. All right. I think that was a lot. I think thank you everyone again. I think we have 60 people. Any questions, or otherwise that's a wrap? Any other questions? All right, I think that's pretty much it. Thank you so much, everyone. I hope this has been helpful. Yeah, we are continuously improving. If it doesn't serve your needs, let us know in very plain English, and we will make it better. Yeah, we are very technology focused. We are very precision focused, and I try to understand things from a fundamental perspective and try to solve it using technology. And then we have to package up, which is what I'm learning on. Okay. Yeah. And then for the folks that, folks, I will definitely reach out if you reach out to me privately, and then you can definitely schedule a call here as well. And most likely I will be on that call. This is the demo link. That's pretty much it. And oh yeah, before you folks go, make sure you click on save chat so you can see other people's contact information if you need that. All right. Otherwise, thank you.